Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people. Well, I always have trouble with that, remembering that term, non-binary. Welcome to Bronson's By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Baseball Talk for Monday, July 11th. Off my game today. I gotta fix the lighting in this room because when I first moved in here 2.5 years ago, all 5 bulbs worked. Now I'm down to 2, and as you can see, the lighting is a little off. Makes me look a little, my skin tone look a little darker than it actually is. Lots to talk about today. First off, I want to say I'm really sad to hear that Matthew Berry is leaving ESPN. I know his advice was not always solid. He's kind of like me. We kind of just, we do the best we can. It's not an exact science, obviously. We're like weathermen, only we don't have, advanced technology to help us do our job, and they're still wrong all the time. So, which I don't really understand. In a place like this, just go up there, keep it short and simple. Just say there's a chance of rain today, because there's always a chance of rain. Or if you live in a place like Phoenix, it's gonna be a warm one today. It's gonna be 100% chance of sunlight. 100% chance of warmth. There's certain places in the country where being a weatherman should be pretty easy. And some places, I mean, even here where the weather changes, so frequently, so quickly, so often, because it's so fickle, it's still easy. I mean, you don't gotta go deep diving into it, because that's when you're setting yourself up for failure. You just keep it short and simple. 100% chance of rain. That's all people really want to know. Is it going to rain today or not? I mean, that's pretty much all I care about. Is it going to rain today or not? But anyways, yeah, Matthew Berry's leaving ESPN. I wonder where he's going, because I really enjoy reading his columns every week. That was a big reason I signed up for ESPN Plus, was so I could read his columns. I really like the way he writes. I like his style of writing. I like his sense of humor. He was a fun guy too. I also really enjoyed his book, the Fantasy Life book. That was a fantastic book. I need to find me a copy of that book, honestly, as I checked it out at the library. I need to buy it though. It's one of my favorite books of all time. There's a lot of really cool stories in that book. But I like the way he writes. So wherever he goes, I want to follow him and continue to get his access to his content. Wander Franco, the young phenom for Tampa Bay, a lot of people's breakout pick this year. I took him in a couple of leagues in the second round because I was really anticipating a huge year. He's been hurt too much. He was on the disabled list for over a month earlier. Came back for a little bit, and now he's back out for at least a month and a half. So it's really tough. It's really rough. There's not a lot of great middle infielders out there to really replace him with either. And my disabled list is so full. I've been carrying Fernando Tatis all year. Eloy Jimenez finally came back. Jack Flaherty's back. Steven Strasburg's back on there. Chris Sale's been on there. He's gonna be back tomorrow, thank God. So that'll free up an injured list spot there for Franco, I think. And who else do I have on my disabled list? I've just had a team. I only get 3 in my leagues, and my team has constantly had 3+ injuries on a regular basis. So it's like I'm just constantly swapping guys in and out, and not really having much of a bench for starting pitcher depth. My team's doing okay though. It's really sad that he's dealing with so many injuries already in his young career. He's very young. I think he's still only 20 years old. Maybe he's 21. It's All-Star week. This is the last week of the season before the All-Star break. So the All-Star games in Los Angeles this year. Kind of cool. Next year though, 2023, it's in Seattle. I'd really like to be able to go to that. I don't know. I'm probably not still going to be living in this area, but I'd still like to go. T-Mobile Park's fun. Seattle's such a fun town. I had a lot of fun there when I went there this weekend. The A lot of mistakes were made. Things that I know I'll never do again. Never go to Seattle, specifically a Mariners game, when the Blue Jays are in town, because the Blue Jay fans travel really well. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like that everywhere else. I was talking to a lot of them. They say that a lot of them came from British Columbia, and so that's just a couple hours north of Seattle. So a lot of them come down from British Columbia, or what's the other one? Where's Edmonton? And is it Manitoba or Alberta? Whatever the other one is. A lot of people came from Edmonton. There was tour buses and buses full of people who came from Edmonton to watch the Blue Jays and the Mariners game in Seattle. And this happens every year, apparently. You talk to the locals, you talk to the people who work there, you talk to the people at the hotels. They'll tell you this. The Blue Jay fans sell everything out when Toronto comes to town. So, as you would expect when something gets sold out, the Mariners T-Mobile Park is full of Blue Jays fans, which it was. The Blue Jays fans were definitely outnumbered the Mariners fans. All the hotels are bought out, so not only is it harder to find a hotel, but when you do find a hotel, the price is astronomical. I can tell you, the hotel I got was over $200 for one night. That's the most expensive hotel room I've ever paid for. And it turns out it was in West Seattle. So West Seattle typically is close to downtown. Normally, you'd be able to get a quick Lyft ride or Uber ride over there, or be able to walk over there, or what have you, in less than an hour. But because the West Seattle Bridge is closed, and I did not know that, it's been closed now for 3 years, I guess. It's supposed to reopen soon, but it was already supposed to be open, and it's been pushed back. We'll see if it reopens. Because the West Seattle Bridge is closed, it's a lot longer of a trip. It's not walking distance anymore, and it's a much more expensive Uber or Lyft ride as well, which I did not know until after I had to do it. So the West Seattle was not the best place to stay. The best place to stay would have been down by the airport, where the hotels were a lot cheaper. I just didn't want to stay there because it was so far out of town. I wanted to be in town, in the city, explore the city. Didn't want to be in the airport, but the airport was a lot cheaper. And recently, something else I did not know about Seattle, the Link, which is their metro, their train, now goes from the airport all the way up to the Space Needle. So I could have stayed down at the airport for half the cost, and I could have got a train back and forth from Seattle. Hence, now I had to spend $45 on a Lyft ride. So I spent a lot more money in Seattle than I intended to, but I still had a good time. I just made a lot of mistakes, and in hindsight, I will not make those, or in the future, I will not make those mistakes again, because I will be going to Seattle a lot. I try to go to Seattle a couple times a year for Mariners games. I just won't ever go to Toronto's in town again, because the price of tickets was 3 times as much too. I thought it was just a night game to day game thing, but it turns out, business people are smart. They know it's supply and demand, and they know that the Blue Jays fans are going to come to town and buy everything. So the Mariners games are going to sell out. So they know that if they don't have to sell a ticket for $15 to get people to show up, they can sell a ticket for $50 and they're still going to sell out because Blue Jays fans are going to buy them, right? So all this stuff I didn't know until I went up there. But I'm glad I got to see the Mariners win in dramatic fashion. It sucked to see George Springer hit a home run, because we always boo those ex-Astros when they come to town. We boo the shit out of them, and it's really fun. It's really fun for us as fans. It sucked they hit that solo home run and they took the lead, but we did end up taking the lead back, winning 2-1, and Toronto got the bases loaded there in the 9th inning. But luckily the pitcher pitched him to a double play to end the inning, and so the Mariners could win 2-1 there in the 9th. It was a great ending. Kind of a boring game up until the final couple of innings, but I had a good time. I had a really good time in Seattle, exploring new areas of the city that I hadn't seen or been to in a long time. So yeah, can't wait to go back to Seattle. Never again when Toronto's in town, and not in West Seattle again until that bridge opens. And probably just not West Seattle again at all, given the fact that there's no trail, there's no link that goes to West Seattle yet. So until they get that, if they ever get a link out to West Seattle, it's really not that advantageous or convenient to be staying out there when you can stay down by the airport, you can stay in downtown, you can stay in uptown, you can even stay way up in Northgate, which is hella far away. But Northgate is an expanding area of Seattle where they are trying to build the new hockey stadium for the Kraken. So it'll be a much more, maybe in a decade or so, Northgate will be a more convenient location. Wow, I've been talking for 10.5 minutes now. I got to the info. Yeah, my Mariners have won 8 straight, so they're back in the playoff hunt. Good pitching staff, so I'm happy with the pitching staff. The bullpen still scares me. The bullpen has always scared me for the last 2 decades as a Mariners fan. The bullpen has always been our undoing. So we'll see. I still don't trust management. I still don't like ownership. I still don't trust this team. I think they're going to tease us until the last couple games of the season. That's what they do. And then they're going to end up missing the playoffs. But I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm hoping this is finally the year they end that 20-year drought, because I'm tired of us being a laughing stock of the major leagues. Also, one last thing before I get to the stuff that you actually tuned in for. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to drag on so long. I just watched Thor: Love and Thunder like an hour ago. I just got out of there, and there's a lot of bad reviews. I thought it was gonna be bad, but I actually really liked it. It actually kind of made me a little emotional. The whole love story between Jane and Thor, and then I thought Christian Bale did a really good job as a villain. I mean, there were definitely some like cheesy plot, storyline things that they intertwined to make the story make sense. It was really cheesy. There was some cheesy parts, but the humor that we've come to expect from Thor movies and Taika Waititi was all there. I thought it was good. I give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I liked there was a little bit more artistic, a little bit more creative than your typical Marvel movie. So I don't have anything bad to say about it really. But let's get to the stuff. Let's get to the baseball stuff. The 3 steaming hot hitters to consider a couple of all-stars who I don't understand how they're all-stars, but since they're all-stars and they're readily available, we should probably talk about them. Let's start with the guy who's not an all-star. Aaron Hicks of the Yankees is probably the hottest hitter in baseball right now. He's still available in a vast majority of leagues. He's probably somebody we should be adding because when healthy with the Yankees over the last few years, he has been a very fantasy relevant player. He seems to be healthy. He's still the Yankees. Fantasy relevance, right? Moving on to the all-stars, who probably shouldn't really be all-stars, but Jose Trevino, the catcher for the Yankees, I don't get it, but he's an all-star. He's available. We always need good catchers. Maybe Jose Trevino can be that guy for us. And then William Contreras. He's not even the primary catcher or primary DH on his own team. Yet somehow he's an all-star. Doesn't even play every day. And somehow, not only is he an all-star, he's going to be starting the all-star game. I don't get it. My mind is blown by these all-star selections this year. But William Contreras, when he does play, which is like 3-4 games a week, he's productive enough to be worth owning. But you don't really want him if you're in a weekly league or a rotisserie league. He's only valuable in day-to-day, daily, head-to-head leagues. For the pitchers, I'm going to try to do this quickly, not talk so much about them. You just want the information. You don't really care about my opinions on the information. Tuesday, a heavy slate of streaming pitchers. I've got 5 for you, with headlined by Chris Sale. I know Chris Sale's most certainly not in the streaming tier. He's still owned in 89% of leagues, despite the fact he hasn't pitched yet this year. That's how phenomenal Chris Sale is when healthy. The problem is he's not been healthy in quite some time. Can he still be the old Chris Sale? I don't think he's going to be that guy this year, but he's still definitely worth owning. And if you have him on your disabled list, you probably should start him tomorrow. You've been holding him this long. You've been patient with him this long. If you're like me, you need to get Chris Sale off the injured list so you can move someone else on there, so you can get a warm body on your bench, right? So Chris Sale, starting tomorrow. But the 5 streamers for you, starting in chronological order with game time, we got Chris Flexen and Josiah Gray. They're facing each other. Mariners at Nationals. Mariners are on a hot streak where they've won 8 straight. Nationals aren't a very good team. Chris Flexen, his last 3 starts, has been very good. No reason to think that won't continue. And then Josiah Gray, still in the streaming tier. He hasn't got over 50% yet. Even though the Mariners are hot, they're still not the best, most intimidating team when it comes to hitting the ball. So Josiah Gray should continue to be the productive pitcher that he's been for the vast majority of the season, except for maybe 1 start. We got David Peterson of the Mets versus the Braves. I know that the Braves are a tough opponent, but David Peterson has been racking up a lot of strikeouts lately. He's at the top of his game right now. If you need some strikeouts, David Peterson's going to be your best bet probably for the whole week. Josh Winder of the Twins versus the Brewers. He's been up and down, but mostly up. When he's down, he's way down, but when he's up, he's pretty good. Hard to say what he'll do against the Brewers, but I think he's worth taking a chance on. And then Bo Brieske, Tigers versus Royals. He's coming off a really strong start in his last start, and now he'll be facing an opponent he should have no trouble dominating if he's on his game. So Bo Brieske is another guy who's very much available. I think his ownership is at like 2%. So he is a guy definitely worth taking a chance on tomorrow. For Wednesday, I've only got 1, Brady Singer. I seem to talk about him pretty much every time he goes out there, but he has strung together some pretty good starts. He's facing the Tigers at Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium, which is very, very pitcher-friendly environment for him. And then Thursday, I got 3, Braxton Garrett, who finally seems to be building some positive starts after positive starts. He's facing a really bad Pirates team. No reason not to trust Braxton Garrett on Thursday. Johnny Cueto. Johnny Cueto's good when he's healthy. Twins are a formidable opponent, but Johnny Cueto's good enough. He's been doing this long enough. He's a craftsman. He's going to figure out a way to stay productive against the Twins. And then Marco Gonzalez, who's having a really strange season. If you look past the ERA and all that stuff, he's having a great season. He's having a historic season, actually. I just read an article about how he's got the biggest gap ever between FIP and ERA. So somehow he's remaining productive despite the fact he's giving up a lot of runs. I don't understand how he's doing it. But Marco Gonzalez, still, he's a good pitcher. And against the Rangers in Texas, we should trust him. And because I think I'm going to lean towards Marco Gonzalez being a good pitcher more than I'm going to lean towards Marco Gonzalez being a bad pitcher. I really like this Mariners rotation that we got right now. Hopefully, tall order, long season. Hopefully they can all stay healthy. Some of them are young guys. Kirby's already been sent down to manage his innings. Logan Gilbert, I'm sure, at some point is going to have his workload managed. But we still got Robbie Ray, we got Marco, we got Chris Flexen. Matt Brash coming out of the bullpen now is a genius idea. I don't know why they didn't do that from the beginning. Scott Service, not the smartest guy in the room, but somehow we're hanging around, and it's nice. It was nice to see them win. It seems like every time I go up there, they either win or they get a no-hitter thrown against them. So kind of high risk, high reward there. So I witnessed history, which is honestly boring. Watching a no-hitter is boring, and also when it's against your team, you leave disappointed as a fan. But it's history. You saw history, right? But then it's nice when your team wins too. So I mean, I don't know, because I guess I can't say that when I watched John Means throw the no-hitter last year on my birthday, I wasn't necessarily disappointed. I was bored, but not just. It was nice to see history. I like history. I'm a history buff. So, all right, I'm at 20 minutes. I should end this. It's 90 plus here in Portland, which is, I don't know why my car is so hot. It's not black, and then my seats aren't leather, but man, my car is like a freaking sauna when I get in there. And the AC doesn't work. But the only way it's bearable, which I need to get some Freon for that at some point, especially if I'm moving to Arizona. But the only way it's bearable is when I roll the windows down like halfway and drive. That's what I'm doing Uber Eats. It's nice to just, be driving and get that cross breeze. Although it's not super hot in my house, which is kind of nice. I'm thinking about going out, trying to earn a little bit of money here for a few hours tonight. I did get $650 last week with only 25 hours of work, so that was pretty impressive. That was only like 4 days of work because I took Saturday, Sunday off, and then I took Monday off last week too. So yeah, 4 days of work, $650, 25 hours of work. You can't really complain about that. That's going to keep me afloat. It's definitely not what I was making before, but I'm also not working nearly as much now. Yeah, but I'm spending more on gas, so I'm happier though. I'm happier mentally. I'm just happier in general to not be so stressed out on a daily basis, so that's kind of nice. Also sleeping better, which is good too. That's always important. Getting more rest, sleeping better, not being stressed out. So it's also translating to my work at UPS. It's making me, more agreeable to getting up at 4 a.m. and going there. So it's just good all around for me. Uber Eats has been good all around for me. All right, peace, love, and nacho fries. Good luck. Best wishes. Stay blessed.